I think the musicals can work if you find people that have the right vision and, actually make art with it instead of just trying to throw money at it and make some money back. Salutations and greetings as well. It's time to sit down and put in those earbuds so as not to disturb the neighbors, because this is Off Book, a podcast about Broadway, movies, TV shows, and so many other nerdy things. I am Marc Stoufer III.
And I'm Hailey Briggs. Today we're in our brand new studio to talk about movie musicals and how to make one that isn't bad. I'm just going to start off with the bad. Probably one of the worst ever. Like, there's good, and then there's bad, and then there's just evil all the way on the other spectrum. That is Cats.
Yeah, that's fair. To be fair, cinematography, good. Music, not. And to be fair, cinematography of non-cats. The cats were nightmare fuel.
I have a cat, and she probably has, I'm holding Millie right now, and she probably has more talent than that movie does. Okay, I'm not saying that the actors or their talent aren't talented, but that movie just, wow.
Well, but I think that the biggest issue with the Cats movie was that the creative team didn't understand how a musical works. They couldn't really tell the story through the music. I mean, there were so many, the big act one closer of Cats is called Memory. And the whole point is that there's this one cat that has kind of been shunned by society. And if someone touches her, she'll be let back into society. And so there's this one lyric in the movie. She says that, but two verses before, somebody touches her, which kind of undoes the point of, the whole show. And there's one line in another song about how McCavity he's a ginger cat, and in the movie,
isn't that the one James Corden played?
He's not a ginger cat.
Oh,
it's just they don't understand how music works and how to make
which one did James Corden? Which one was he?
I don't remember which cat he was. Wasn't he Mistopheles? No.
Something like that.
Hold on, let me look up.
But yeah, I think that's funny that it's becoming a running joke that you literally just cannot make a movie worse than Cats.
Huh.
I worked in the movie theater when Cats came out, and nobody saw it. We maybe had 2 people in the theater per showing, if that.
Side note, James Corden played Bustopher Jones, who's not skin and bones. In fact, he's remarkably fat. That's the line from the show. I'm not freestyling. Right, it's not Cats characters, just to be clear.
I was going to say, I actually haven't really seen Cats.
The musical is pretty good. It's just that they messed it up so badly because they didn't know how to use the music in a storytelling piece, which I think is, kind of important if you're going to make a musical, to understand how to do the music.
And then I think going up maybe 2 notches is Dear Evan Hansen.
I haven't seen that one yet, so I really can't tell us that.
So I've seen parts.
Okay.
From TikTok and stuff.
Ah, yes.
Because I waste my life away on TikTok when I'm not studying.
It doesn't always land on TikTok.
It's because I always bring it up. I'm on TikTok constantly. I never post anything, so you're not going to see me doing any dances or anything. But yeah, no. Apparently, it's just absolutely awful. I love Ben Platt. I am in love with Ben Platt, but it was so bad.
Yeah.
He's how old is he now?
He's 32, I think. How old is Ben Platt? 28.
Oh.
He's only 28. Really?
Okay, well, he looks older than that.
He does.
But he's supposed to be okay. So Dear Evan Hansen's about this high school kid who's super depressed, and then someone in his school commits suicide, and it happens to be his crush's brother that commits suicide. So he conjures up this story that they were friends, and goes to fool everybody, and it's a whole mess. And honestly, a terrible ideology, but
very well written. Terrible message.
Yeah, it's the worst message you could even. But and
just
so
lie. Life will be good for you.
They're in high school, and so he plays a high schooler, and there was this one actor that everybody wanted to play because he played
the right age.
Yeah, he was the right age, and he had done the Broadway show. Oh my gosh, I know his name's Andrew.
Andrew Blythe Feldman.
Yes, little cutie.
the other thing to make sure that you do in a movie musical is to make sure that the movie is as good as the music. I think that's the biggest issue with The Greatest Showman for me is that the music is very good. It's
Oh my
very well
God,
performed.
I love The
But the movie
Greatest
just
Showman.
drags so much for me, at least when they're not singing. Like, it's not bad. I just don't think that any of the non-musical numbers are as good as the musical numbers. And I think, it needs to be the same, at least, for it to be a cohesive experience.
Yeah, I think I was a junior or senior in high school when it came out, so it's quite a few years ago now. And we all thought it was just going to be a documentary on P.T. Barnum, but no, they're like, no, it's a movie musical, and we're like, heck yeah! Like we all know Hugh Jackman can sing, right?
Yeah, he's very good.
Even though that's what was about to kick Beetlejuice out, but it's fine. The Music Man was going to kick Beetlejuice out of their venue, and then COVID happened. But Beetlejuice
we didn't know that
is coming
yet.
back.
We weren't mad at him yet. Yes, Beetlejuice is back. We made a whole episode about that.
And I saw it in theaters. Actually, the first time I saw it, this was back when I actually did go to the movies. And it was good. I liked it. It was surprising that it was that good. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Another one that I saw in theaters, La La Land. I don't know why I blanked on that so hard. I cried at the ending. I'm not going to say anything because it's like an absolute spoiler.
Oh, yeah.
But like, it just made me, I think that is the most irritating movie ending I have ever had to experience.
For sure. Yeah. They pull it off well, though.
And they did it so well.
Yeah.
Like La La Land is one of the first like movie musical kind of type things for modern day stuff. And it was done flawlessly. Like there's no like, oh, maybe they did. Like, no, they did it. They did it good.
I don't know if you've seen the movie adaptation of the last 5 years.
With Jeremy Jordan?
Yeah.
No, I haven't actually. The first time I've ever heard of that was back last semester when I was at Grand Valley. And it came up randomly on my Spotify and I was like, this is a thing?
Yeah. It played off Broadway. I don't think it ever made it to Broadway, but then they made it a movie with Jeremy Jordan and Anna Kendrick, who's amazing. I think it falls into a similar trap where I don't think it's as exciting when they're not singing as when they are singing. It's a very confusing show because it's told both because it's the love story of Jamie and Kathy, and they're both telling the same story, but one of them is telling it from when they meet to when they eventually break up, and the other one is telling it from when they break up to when they meet. So every other song is told in the opposite order until they meet in the middle. And then
I was going to say, that's what I'm reading. Yeah.
It's really cool, but it gets very confusing because every other scene is told and completely, you just keep jumping around in chronology. And it's not hard to follow necessarily, but I think those non-singing scenes need to be very good in order to keep your attention. I wasn't being bored with them, but I think it was not interesting enough to really hold my attention,
Yeah, I like looking at it. First off, I love how it's Jeremy Jordan and then frickin' Anna Kendrick, who just did Pitch Perfect.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying Jeremy Jordan isn't famous, but I just didn't think he was that well known to be able to be cast with Anna Kendrick. But yeah, no, that's definitely one I haven't seen, and I've seen a lot of them. That's one that I hadn't heard of until maybe a little bit like 9 months ago. So, and it's like, it's because like you said, it sounds good. It's just, I don't know if I'd get confused because I was kind of confused with La La Land with the ending. And that's when I started crying when I realized. I was like, no. I was like, how dare you?
Yeah. The Rent movie is interesting too. I don't know if you've seen that.
Which one?
The Rent adaptation.
Which one? Because isn't there like 5 different ones?
Well, they taped the Broadway performance, but there's also a movie adaptation they made in like 2005.
We don't talk about the live run. We don't talk about it.
No, not Rent Live. They taped the Broadway performance. Then in 2005, and they made a movie. and then they made
Yeah.
Rent Live on Fox, but that doesn't exist.
We don't talk about Rent Live on this channel. That
It doesn't
is
exist.
banned.
The
There's like
whole
a list
channel?
of banned topics.
I can't even make a video on it outside of the podcast. You just put a full ban on it, huh?
Yes, there's like a list of banned things, and that is the only one that I am banning from your entire channel because it was just that terrible.
Wow. I
You
can't
have to
making
admit.
fun of it or anything.
You have to admit that is absolutely. You still have to give me my episode where I get to make fun of whatever I want.
Coming after Christmas.
I like. It was just that bad, but yes, I have seen. Now I know what you're talking about. I have seen that. It was very good. I do like it. It's just old schooly because it's from 2005 and we're in 2000. We're about to be in 2022.
No, that's not allowed. That's also banned from the channel.
Talking about the future is ultimately banned.
Yes, and any crisis that it makes me happy is banned. Anyway, I also like the Rent movie, but a lot of people don't. I never really understood why until like 2 days ago when I finally heard somebody say that the biggest difference between Rent the musical and Rent the movie is that Rent the movie seems to be made through the lens of, oh, this is Rent. Everybody loves Rent. Let's have a good time. When really the musical is like, hey, life is hard. You have no money. And the musical has a lot more of a, I don't want to say cynical tone, but a much more of a realist tone where I feel like the movie is kind of told through like this rose tinted lens of, oh, but it's Rent. Everyone loves Rent. And I think that isn't pretty much perfectly describes all the complaints I've heard with the Rent movie, except for, cutting songs and stuff, but that's just going to happen. And I think that's something you need to make sure you're doing correctly too, is that if you're going to make a movie, figure out what your tone is and make sure it matches and then stick to it. Because I think Rent definitely could have gone with a little bit more of not a serious tone necessarily, but it could have had some more weight to it in some of those movies.
Well, obviously if something has been made before, you kind of want to, you don't want to put a massive new spin on it, like the 2021 version of Cinderella.
I haven't seen that yet, but
it's absolutely awful. Camila Cabello, I do not like her voice at all. That's probably one of my least favorite singers of all time, just because she's just not my cup of tea, as I would say. She just it's just bad. And it's it doesn't really follow the whole Cinderella vibe. And it's just oh, happy, we have a pop star. No. Cinderella is supposed to be depressing. And all that. For a part of it anyways. Even Disney got the depressing part. Come on.
Although, speaking of musicals with the depressing part, the Into the Woods movie was a thing that existed.
I totally forgot that they did a movie for Into the Woods.
I was in a production of Into the Woods.
Into the Woods is one of my favorite musicals.
It's very good. But the movie...
It's terrible.
And I think the biggest reason, it was a lot like Cats, is that I just don't think they understood the material. And someone pointed out to me that they cut a lot of the jokes out of Into the Woods, the movie, when the jokes are kind of the whole reason that the show exists. It's a parody and satire of fairy tales, and you cut all the jokes out of it. I feel like we can't go talk about Into the Woods without mentioning Sondheim, who died a while ago. He's on the back wall of our studio. He obviously meant a lot to both of us. And obviously neither one of us actually knew him. He has no idea that we exist, or that the show exists. But it's clear that his work and the stuff he's created means a lot to us and kind of the theater. And so he's cool and stuff.
Yeah, that was extremely upsetting.
Yeah.
I think I texted you. No, you texted me.
Yeah.
And I was I was in class and I looked at my phone because I was oh, yeah, I'm not paying attention to music theory. And I was I audibly gasped. And my teacher was like, are you okay? And I was like, Stephen Sondheim just died. And she goes, what? Because she's like, if you ask anybody in as a music major at Grand Valley, they know who Stephen is.
Well, as they should. He's written some top-notch music. Truly incredible stuff.
He literally paved the way for musical theater.
Yeah. So complex and intricate. harmonies and the motifs. He was a master of motifs.
I didn't realize that he was that old, to be honest. It didn't click in my mind that he was that old.
But he was still writing musicals. When he was working on a musical for next Broadway season, which I don't know how far along in the road that was. I think he said that it had a stage reading, so who knows what that's going to be like. But I mean, his revival of Company's on Broadway right now.
It almost feels like
mixed reviews.
Not like wrong to me to have a stage reading, but it's like if he wanted it to, then yes. But because how
it had a reading while he was alive.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, how it works when people die and all of a sudden like multiple things come out and it's like there's like a whole conspiracy about SpongeBob. It's the whole thing that I follow on like this Facebook page. But
oh no, that's wow. And now a word from today's sponsor. Today's episode is sponsored by a brand new masterclass by Tom Hooper on the movie music. If you've enjoyed the episode this far, you're sure to enjoy what he has to say on the medium as well. As the man responsible for the Les Mis movie and the Cats movie, he'll give you everything you need to know about how to mess up a Broadway musical as a movie.
Don't you mean make a very good adaptation of a Broadway musical?
No. Anyway.
So, I think two of my favorite movies, Rocketman and Bohemian Rhapsody. And I think you can technically call those movie musicals.
They're probably the movie equivalent of a jukebox musical, so sure.
We'll say it is, because they're my two of my favorites. I just think that it was so well done. So how like we were talking about like the story has to flow with the music, right? That's what they did. So obviously Elton John helped with his, but I mean for Queen they only had like the three remaining band members left because obviously Freddie Mercury died of AIDS back in the 70s, 80s. And so when that first came out, I wasn't sure about it like at all, either one of them, to be honest. I was like, oh great, this is going to be kind of boring. It's like a documentary. Documentaries aren't my favorite thing. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Like the music is so well done. They both the actors, I'm blanking on their names right now. First off, they both look like them when they were younger. Second off, they both sound like them. So I don't know. That's my spiel on that. Those are like, that's how you do it. Obviously they have an easier time because it's a true story, but I still think think it's good. Yeah.
And on the note of sometime, Into the Woods was getting me thinking. The West Side Story movie is coming out. I think it is out now. I haven't seen it yet.
It is out.
It looks so good.
It does. It looks. I follow I think Mark follows the same page as I do, but I follow like these Broadway Instagram accounts, and every one of them is giving it like 11 out of 10. And these people don't mess around. Like they have like a whole like rubric about how they rate these movies. And that is just 10 out of 10, 9.8 out of 10. And I'm like, is this going to be the movie musical of the year? Is this going to beat out what was the other one that came out earlier this year?
Tick Tick Boom? In the Heights?
In the Heights. Because that got a lot of hype as well. And that was extremely good from what I've heard.
Yeah, it was good.
So I don't know. It's either going to be In the Heights or West Side Story. Like, sorry, Annie. See you later.
Annie live on NBC. And I think the thing with West Side Story is that it's directed by Steven Spielberg, who is just he's my favorite director. He's so good. And
Explosives. That's all I know him for.
Well, yeah, but because he's made stuff like Saving Private Ryan, which is like a really realistic war movie.
That is such a good movie.
It's very good, but it's very hard to watch in that it's very accurate from what I've heard.
It is.
Or anything, but from what I've heard. But he also made like The Post, which is about newspaper editors trying to figure out whether to publish a story. It's like a very small historical drama. And I think the fact that he can do both of those shows, Spielberg has a huge range. And
it's like what you need nowadays.
Yeah. And like knows how to work with source material. So I think that he was able to take that music that Sondheim wrote and kind of, take that to levels and add onto it and be able to interpret that, not misinterpret it like Cass did.
A little salty about that?
No, not at all.
I had a movie in mind and now I can't remember what it was, but I know I don't like it. So
nice. I said it 3 times in this benefit party. I keep forgetting what I'm going to say.
Mamma Mia. That's it. That's it.
Oh, yeah.
I do like Mamma Mia, but that's not the movie I was like getting mad about. But now I can't remember what it was. Freaking love Mamma Mia. Okay. So I will say I have never seen the movies ever.
Really?
No, I just listen to the soundtracks religiously, and I've seen clips, but I've never seen the full movies.
I don't think I have either. Come to think of it,
Oh, add it to our list. Mark and I have like a list going
it's
of
getting
like
very
what
long.
we need to. Well, good thing we're both about to be on Christmas break because I think that they're trying to do more movie musicals.
Mm-hmm.
I sure hope that Beetlejuice does not become a movie musical because it's already a movie and I just don't want to see that. I love Beetlejuice, but I do not want to see that.
I think, it's very easy to mess that up, you know?
Well, yeah, and it's like what we saw with which one we were just talking about? Dear Evan Hansen. Everybody loves Dear Evan Hansen. It's a great musical, and they just screwed it up so bad.
Yeah. And with a lot of those musicals, there's been a lot of discussion about kind of that corporate feeling musical where it feels like they went,
I need a famous musical. That one. Get some celebrities. Get a budget. Make something.
and
At
you know,
Wicked?
it just is a spectacle-filled garbage fire. And you
I'm
know,
like-
I think
I'm like pointing religiously at Wicked right now because they supposedly casted Ariana Grande.
yeah, that's official.
No, you're lying. I thought it
No.
was still a rumor.
They're talking about it. She posted about it. It's a whole thing.
I'm mad. I wanted to go see that so bad, and now I don't. But it's so weird because she's like the only celebrity so far.
Well, the only non-Broadway
Actually,
stuff.
The
There's some
guy,
Broadway people, but
the guy that played the butler on Jessie, he wants to be the he wants to be like the one guy in the Emerald City. He wants to play that one.
he could do
So I would love to see him do that. But
that.
yeah, no, they ruined Wicked, the movie already, and they haven't even started filming.
Oh no. But I think, you know, that there's something to be said about that you can't really reverse engineer a movie musical. Just to find a director that understands musicals, how to make them work, and then let them have fun and experiment. You don't need these big flashy musical numbers all the time.
Well,
There
the
are small
funny thing
musicals that work.
is, Ben Platt's dad, I don't remember his name.
Mark Platt.
Yeah.
What's his
one.
first name?
Literally directed La La Land, right? Like he was part of La La Land. He was part of something that was super successful.
He was the producer of La La Land. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he came up with Dear Evan Hansen. Like, what kind of follow-up is that?
I don't know.
A terrible one. That's what I'll tell you. They can come after me all they want. It's just a terrible, 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 terrible.
Please do not sue either of us. I know that we're both technically of legal age to sue us, but please don't. Off Book Podcasting LLC does not wish to go to court with Universal Pictures. Oof. We would lose.
We're both also extremely, well, I'm an extremely broke college student. He's about to be an extremely broke college student. So
We have no lawyers. It's a whole thing. Please don't sue us.
I'm sure I could get some pre-law students over here.
Good practice.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, quick question. I'm just kidding.
How do you feel about Universal Pictures?
But yeah, I feel like the main, from what it stems to, is it has to be a good director. Because I feel like that's always...
Yeah. A good director that understands the material and can do things with it instead of just going, I don't know, does James Corden want to sing some of this music for us?
I love how that's a running joke now. Every time they announce a new movie musical, is James Corden going to be
He
in
was
it?
in so many. Like, he can sing. He was on Broadway. He did a decent job singing on Broadway. It's just that they keep casting him in the wrong musicals. I'm not getting into being in a musical. Just cast him in the right one.
Cats, what else was he in?
He was in The Prom, which was a whole thing.
I forgot about the prom. I never really got into the musical, so I guess I can't comment on the movie either. I just remember the whole running James Corden joke.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. Just don't
I'm
cast him.
surprised James Corden wasn't on Glee. I know we talked about Glee last week, but like, can you imagine if James Corden was on Glee?
I can actually.
Like that is such like a visible picture, and that's terrifying that it's a visible picture.
I mean, he does do carpool karaoke all the time. That's basically just Glee in a car.
Yes, that and the sidewalk Broadway thing.
Oh yeah, James Corden is just a theater kid, so like nothing wrong with him being a musical, just not those.
I think he got done dirty in the roles he was in.
His agent just does not know what they're doing. James, please find a new agent. you deserve better than this.
Needs a new agent ASAP. Yes. I mean, I'm sure that one of us could do it, but
yes, we Off Book Podcasting LLC will represent James Corden as we're suing Universal Pictures for copyright defamation. That's none of those words belong in a sentence together. Anyway, I think the musicals can work if you find people that have the right vision and actually make art with it instead of just trying to throw money at it and make some money back.
Yeah, I'm definitely like ending the year with West Side. I'm very excited.
Yeah,
we were kind of like this with movie musicals. Like we had like In the Heights, Dear Evan Hansen, The Prom. Like I think The Prom was last year, but
what's the shape of that graph? Several parabolas next to each other.
I still have a very slight hope for Wicked, but not very much. If they get a good director.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the director is the same person that directed Crazy Rich Asians, and In the Heights. So he clearly knows what he's doing.
Clearly, because both of them were very like top charts, like good music. Good.
He knows what he's doing. So the question is, can he do something with Wicked? And Ariana Grande can sing. It's just, can she act? And I don't really know.
I mean, granted, she was on Nickelodeon for a few years, but can she like movie act? Because that's
can she actually act?
TV acting.
Yeah. I guess we'll find out.
That's terrifying.
Yeah. But hey, there's always the 2003 cast recording.
I don't have high hopes for anything anymore.
Come on, movie musicals, you can do this.
Dear Evan Hansen broke me. I officially have no more faith anymore.
No. Someone's gonna make a Broadway musical, a musical movie that's just the best, or just West Side Story. Just keep doing that. Can we hire Steven Spielberg to do all the movie musicals?
You know how much money he would make too?
He'd do a great job. I mean, if anybody could pull off a Beetlejuice musical movie, it would be him. And with that, we fade out on this episode. No, not actually. Thank you. Anyway, we fade out on this episode.
Make sure to join us next week for a Christmas special where we'll talk all about the best of the season. Have a great week.